Welcome. What is up? Got a terrific show for you today. Let's get right to it. This is CCR, Corey's Crystallized Randomness. Your host, Corey, born Electric City, Cascade County, Big Sky, Team USA. Crystallized, complements of Merriam-Webster. Definition: to cause to take a definite form, i.e. this digital story. Forever? Forever, ever, ever? Randomness, from the Gentleman of Oxford. Definition follows: having no definite error or purpose. Yes, Mom. Not sent or guided, made, done, occurring, etc. without method or conscious choice, haphazard. Okay, let's expand for a second. In stats, randomness is governed by or involving equal chances for each of the actual or hypothetical members of a population, which implies lack of not character, predictability. It is used to define such properties as the lack of bias or correlation, and my personal favorite, Monte Carlo methods. Where's Walmo? Crystals are solid materials whose atoms, molecules, or ions are arranged in an orderly repeating pattern extending in all three spatial dimensions. Whereas, random process follows no discernible deterministic pattern, but follows a probability distro such that the relative probability of the occurrence of each outcome can be calculated. There's your cheeseburger. Stay awake. The contradiction. Cheeseburger equals delicious, succulent, and paradise. Cheeseburger also equals the wave athletic. Moving on, today's programming, carpe diem, a fresh perspective. And here we go. All-time top 5 duels post Achilles and Hector according to CCR. Number 5, the most ferocious duel in all Canadian history. 11 April 1819, William Caldwell, Dr. Montreal General Hospital, and Michael O'Sullivan, member of Legislature, Lower Canada. Locale, Windmill Point near the Lachine Canal. Cause, Caldwell accused O'Sullivan of lacking courage. Result, two opponents exchanged fire an unheard of, a profane, and uncanny 5 times. O'Sullivan was hit twice, including a bullet to the chest during the final volley, which instantly flung him to the ground. Caldwell's arm was shattered by a shot, and a hole in his collar proved he narrowly missed being hit in the neck. Both men did in fact survive, but took their sweet time recovering before returning to society. Legacy, O'Sullivan went on to become Chief Justice of the Court of King's Bench, Montreal. When he died in 1839, autopsy revealed a bullet still lodged against the middle of his spine. Quote, Sid Crosby's response to the question asking if the Canadian team was nervous after experiencing adversity early in the 2010 Olympic tournament. Nah, we knew we had better. Number 4, contemptible, if true. 11 July 1804, U.S. Vice President Aaron Burr and former U.S. Secretary of Treasury Alexander Hamilton. Locale, the Heights of Weehawken, New Jersey, below the towering cliffs of Palisades. The cause was a long-standing political and personal rivalry that culminated with a challenge issued from Burr at an upstate New York dinner party after Hamilton refused him an apology. Result: Hamilton apparently fired first, into the air, intent and clear. Burr returned fire and hit Hamilton in the lower abdomen above the right hip. The musket ball ricocheted off Alexander's second or third false rib, fracturing it and inflicting damage to his liver and diaphragm, before becoming lodged in his first or second lumbar vertebrae. He died 2 p.m. the next day. Legacy: Hamilton was a founding father, economist, aide to General Washington during the American Revolutionary War, one of America's first lawyers, and author of the Federalist Papers. Karma: Hamilton's known affair of 1791 with Maria Reynolds and speculation of close relations with wife Elizabeth's sister, Angela Church. Burr quote, Had I read Sterne more and Voltaire less, I should have known the world was wide enough for Hamilton and me. Number 3, Shaken, not Shakespearean, Act 2. August 1772, Richard Brinsley Sheridan, owner of the London Theatre Royal, Drury Lane, and Captain Thomas Matthews. Locale, Kingston, near Bath. Cause, Matthews had authored a defaming article of Elizabeth Linley, the woman Sheridan intended to marry. Matthews lost his sword during the first duel and begged for his life, but became enraged from the publicity over this and issued another challenge. Result: Act 2 was slightly more ferocious than the bloodless first encounter. This time both men broke their swords but carried on the fight for queen, life, and honor. Both wounded, Sheridan dangerously, with antagonist's weapon sticking through an ear, his breastbone touched, covered in puncture wounds and blood, face beating the jelly from the hilt of Matthews' sword. Matthews escaped in a post-chase. Sheridan, after 8 days in intensive, pulled through. Legacy: Rich married Liz, and became an esteemed member of Parliament for 32 years. Hamlet quote, There's a divinity that shapes our end, rough hew them how we will. Bonus quote, The rest is. Number 2, no Decatur, Montana? 22 March 1820, Commodore Stephen Decatur, U.S. Navy, and Commodore James Barron, U.S. Navy. Locale, Bladensburg Dueling Field in Bladensburg, Maryland. Now Colmer Manor, Maryland. Cause: James challenged Stephen in response to comments Decatur made over Barron's conduct in the Chesapeake Leopard affair of 1807. Decatur was on the court-martial that found Barron unprepared and barred him from command for 5 years. Result: an expert marksman, Decatur intended only to wound Baron and inflicted a non-mortal wound to his hip. Baron returned the favor with a mortal lap shot. Stephen died 2 days later in his Lafayette Square house. Legacy: Decatur was the youngest to reach the rank of captain in U.S. naval history, and was celebrated as a national hero for his bravery in the Barbary Wars and the War of 1812. Quote: Decatur was said to have cried out, "I did not know that any man could suffer such pain." Really? Same guy from Number 1. Don't mess with school teachers. 13 June 1833, John Wilson and Robert Lyon, two law students and former friends from the province of Ontario. Locale: Perth, Ontario. Cause: quarrel arose from remarks Lyons made about a local school teacher, Elizabeth Hughes. Apparently not good remarks. Result: on the second exchange of shots on a rain-soaked field, Lyons fell to his death, the last fatal duel in Canada. Legacy: Wilson was acquitted of murder, eventually married Liz, became a member of parliament, and later a judge. Quote: Tyler Durden Fight Club. Fights will go on as long as they have to. This has been not only a joy, but a CCR production, in honor of French mathematician Évariste Galois, who died at the age of 20 from an ab shot, 30 May 1832. Legend has it that Galois poured his mathematical genius onto paper, through the night into the day of his fateful duel. I guess he knew his opponent had better, but his letters to Auguste Chevalier secured his place within abstract algebra. Galois, also the dude who determined a necessary and sufficient condition for a polynomial to be solvable by radicals. And yes, the duel was over a woman, a physician's daughter. Brother, next time get a good night's rest. Until we meet again, no ab shots and carpe diem. I am out.
Baby,